Buddy, it's Henry. So this is Thursday morning, February coffee shop talk. So it's funny because somebody said the other day we are just talking and like, man, you like to communicate. Well, I do. I do. That's what humans do. They communicate. What I really like to do is share my life experience and my knowledge because I remembered it all. In fact, I was talking yesterday, and the guy was like, "You have impeccable memory and ability to see things." I said, "Well, I do," and I kind of explained how I see stuff. And what we used is a gazebo that's sitting out there, and I asked him. I said, "What do you see out there? Focus on the gazebo, and then tell me what your mindset sees." And he says, "Oh, I see the gazebo." I said, "Well, I don't just see the gazebo. I see the flag markings on the ground. I see the trash. I see the broken sidewalk. I see the broken lattice along the trailers." I said, "I see the the machine called the JLG on the road that's down there on the left." I said, "I see way down there." I said, "A dumpster that's full that needs to be emptied." And he looked at me, he's like, "What the heck?" I said, "When I look at items," I said, then I go back to the gazebo real quick. I said, "But I don't just see the gazebo. I see the ash for smoking next to the gazebo. I see the plastic that's stuck underneath the gazebo. And I also notice I can see, we're probably 50 to 100 feet away from the gazebo." I said, "I see that it's not strapped down." I said, "But what I really see of the gazebo is I go deeper in that." I said, my mind draws pictures of people building and cutting and putting the gazebo together. I don't know why it happens." I said, for instance, I looked at some scaffolding, and then I looked at the dive locker. There's a diver's locker right there. I said, and I've been in the diver's locker. I said, what I do is I draw a picture of what's inside the diver's locker. I said, I draw pictures of what's inside there. I said, "Do you know what's inside that dive locker? Does your brain ask you to recall the items in that dive locker?" I said, "Mine does." I said, "So when I'm talking about the dive locker, I'm also talking about the diver suit that's in there, and the helmet, and the memorabilia, the history, stuff up on the walls." Now, I hadn't been in there in 3 years, so of course it might have changed. But ironically, my mind, after it recorded everything that's in that dive locker, I actually regurgitate and see while we're talking about it. I do that with everything. I don't know how that works, why it works that way. Where I'm sitting now and having this coffee shop talk with you, I got in front of me is a Burger King sign. So in that sign, I'm also looking at different buildings and stuff, and I'm looking at, like, there's a old white Corvette's been sitting here for months. I don't know why it's not moving. It's an older version, probably in the 80s, I would say. And I'm just, my mind keys on it, and I noticed some stuff with it. Well, it doesn't have the original Corvette tires on it. It doesn't have the original Corvette wheel covers on it. Somebody had put some aftermarket junk on it, right? So there's things there that I notice even while I'm talking and discussing with you. It's not in place where it belongs. It's not normal. That's just how my mind thinks. I've done that over the years. I guess being a submariner, I had to do that. When somebody called out a valve, I knew where the valve was. When I had to hang tags, I knew where it was. I think I did a lot of that because so much of my time on the submarine hanging tags was taken up by not knowing where the valve was. It was pulling out the book and looking for it. And the hours and hours of my time off wasted to hang and look for one tag. I mean, we'd hang 100 tags at a time. And if you had spend 20 minutes on one tag, you imagine how your day was. And when your boss said you can't go until all those are hung, and the dirty leadership that didn't know how to do his job gave it to you at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on your day after duty, when you already been up all night and had no sleep, and you're already there the whole day afterwards, because I had a bad leader that really hated his people and he mismanaged everything. I learned to be more efficient so my time wouldn't be taken up by bad leadership. So doing that, I've seasoned it to memorize stuff, look at stuff, streamline stuff, make things more efficient. And when we built our current house here about 3 years ago, we built it. I did the same thing with building it. I streamlined it. I cleaned it. I looked at the drawing like Waldo, and I looked at the drawing and I redesigned it so that it would flow and work for me. Because all those years on a submarine, especially with this one individual leader, which really was bad, and I had to find ways around him and work with him, I learned to adapt to do that. I learned to streamline and make my stuff better and more efficient. I'm doing that with my business when I do weed eaters and lawnmowers. I work things in sequence and keep moving so that I get more done quicker. Now, there's the skeptics that'll say you can't multitask. Well, that's not true. The people can't multitask are the ones that can't think like I think. Non-multitaskers don't think like I do. My one boss I was talking about that was just bad at leadership could not multitask. He could not do multiple things and put people on different items and keep the work flowing. He just couldn't do it. Now, non-multitaskers will look at it and go, well, that just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work. It does. You have to, one, know the process. Two, you have to understand the task. Three, you have to really understand the work. And then you have to understand your people that are doing the work, their abilities to move that work forward. So, yes, you can multitask. I'm very good at it. I do it all day long, and I'm very efficient at it. Now, does everything go as flow? No, you have to multitask and refigure it out. But there is such a thing. But there's skeptics that'll tell you otherwise. I'm telling you from experience, I do it all the time. That's why the bang for the buck is done the way I do things. But I've gotten that way because, one, I work on it. Two, I see things in what I will say four-dimensional. Most people will say I'm freaking nuts. I don't care. I see things the way I do, and I try to train people to see it that way. And when they come back to me and say, you know what, that worked. That was actually pretty good. So I just have the full vision of things. I don't just drive to work and look straight ahead and look at the stop sign. I'm looking into buildings. I'm looking into a police officer there. Is there somebody there? Why is that car there? It wasn't there before. I photograph stuff going to work, and then I can regurgitate it and talk about it at work. And I'll ask which direction somebody come in, and I'll ask some specifics. Did you see this? Did you see that? And the answer will always be no. The people that are one-dimensional do not see the things on the side of the road, or they didn't see that the sidewalk was busted, or, for instance, driving down the road, the sign's been tipped over or pushed over, or it's been that way for a while. They don't relate any of those things to memory, and they don't look at those in a one. They only look at it at one-dimensional or two-dimensional. They don't look at all the way 360. See, I look at life at 360. You start at 0, 90, 180, blah, blah, blah. I look at it that way. I was trained that way and taught that way to be more efficient because it was just so much of my time off and getting paid minimum money, and my time off with my family and my kids was so ruined by poor leadership that I had to figure out a way around to be efficient so I could save that time. I had to learn as a leader to be better and not follow those same crappy footprints. Right? And that's why for years and years and years and years and years, I led people. And then as I got older, I decided to transition onto that leadership position and more of a mentorship. That's what I look at myself now. I'm a seasoned 60-year-old fit guy that walks all day. I work, I push, I pull. Yesterday I put on 15,000 steps, and I was up and down stairs and in the basin. I was all over the place yesterday. No golf cart, just getting some physical activity in at 60. Go, go, go. Right? And I do that, and I exercise my mind that way, and that's how I lead. So I'm more of a mentor leadership system now, and I'm trying to teach the young generation and people that I work with. And even I work with 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, and then there's a lot right now coming into the workforce that are 19. So I'm trying to teach them and condition their mind the way I see it, than just stand around and smile and be told what to do. I wasn't that guy as a young kid. My time on a boat, sitting on a step, falling asleep, waiting to be tasked with work was driving me freaking bonkers. I'll tell some more submarine stories about poor leadership and how my time was wasted. So I seasoned my brain to become more efficient to save my time. Now, that was infectious to my people, because I felt if I took care of my time and cared about myself, then my people's with them, what's in it for me, will also be taken care of. And it did. And I truly believe, this is from my own people, I awarded them, I took care of them, I gave them the with them, and they naturally took care of me. And even today on Facebook, they're there. They'll tell you that's the guy you want running you, and that's the guy you want to go to war with. That's the guy that can get you out of a situation. That's a guy that can think. That's a guy that knows his shit. That's me. And I did that by what I just told you how I do it. I don't see things as just a tire. I don't see things as just a Corvette. I don't see it as just a concrete or the lines on the road or an auto parts store. I see things beyond that. I go 360. I start at zero and I go all around. My head goes all around my body and looks at everything in 360, which I call four-dimensional. So put the lipstick on the pig and call it what you want, but that's what I call it. That's how I see things. Anyways, just a coffee shop talk with you and trying to share some information. Maybe you can learn something from me, how you should look at things and not just look at one-dimensional. You got to look at your life four-dimensional, your finances, how you live, how you take care of things, what you do, your lifestyle around you, what's around you. What can I do? What can I do better? You know, that's anyways, that's my pitch to you. Anyways, have a good day. It's Thursday. This is how I think. This is who I am. I'm real. I'm down to earth. I'm nobody special. I just want to try to help somebody else out. And then later on, I'll get why that works, because I call it the pyramid of life. And I'll draw a picture for you later on my discussion on that. The pyramid of life. I'll make that my next discussion. All right. Everybody have a great day.